Today, we bring news that actually matters, the kind that changes the weather, not just the wallpaper. A la mode by Cotality has now been verified by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which means UAD 3.6 just stopped being theoretical and started being real. We're sitting down with Joel Baker to talk about what this verification really means for working appraisers, not the press release version, the practical version. What changes, what does not, and how to get yourself ready without losing sleep or dignity in the process.
Don't believe the fiction that property data collectors do the same job as appraisers. Property data collectors and appraisers have two distinct roles. Property data collectors perform an objective, fact-based collection and reporting of data and do not provide any opinion on value. Appraisers develop and provide an opinion of value on a property using various sources. Get the facts. FannieMae.com/propertydata. You're listening to the Appraisal Buzzcast with your host, Hal Humphreys.
Welcome back to this episode of the Appraisal Buzzcast. My name is Jim Morrison. I'm joined again by our host, Hal Humphreys. Let me bring in Hal. Hey, Hal.
Hi, Jim. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Well, we're excited to have one of our favorite guests, Joel Baker from A La Mode. Joel's here to talk about a major milestone they just hit. Now that they're officially verified by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac for UAD 3.6, let me bring him in and let's talk about it. Hey, Joel.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Oh my gosh, it's going so good, Joel. Thank you for being here. I'm going to just skip the intro part because all of our listeners know who Joel Baker is. A lot of our students have seen you in front of them in the past year. You're out there all the time helping appraisers get their head around this stuff, so thank you for that. If people want to know a little bit more about Joel, you can go back and listen to some of our other introductions of Joel. But the big news today is that A La Mode has finally been verified by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac for UAD 3.6. Can you explain what verification means in practical terms?
So verification is where Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have verified that we are able to, or a particular software, and of course us in this case, are able to pump out the PDFs and the XML files that are essentially the same things that they have released as part of Appendix D1. It's a really technical kind of project, but it basically, from a non-techie standpoint, means they want to make sure it's not vaporware.
Yeah.
They test the actual product, and we have to demo that it's actually working the thing.
And we've got verification now.
Absolutely do. Yes.
Love it. I love it. Now, Joel, you've been working closely with appraisers for a long time now. What are the biggest differences appraisers are going to notice when working with UAD 3.6 in that environment?
So the biggest thing is, this is the title of a presentation that I've been giving for the last year and a half, which is, dude, where's my addendum? There are no addenda in the new UAD 3.6. Everything has a place. And by no addenda, I'm not just talking text, Hal. I'm talking there's no photograph addenda. There's no invoice to be included. There's no place to put those particular things. The data that used to go in a text addendum now has many specific places where the appraisers will put those things. So comments about waterfront are going to go in the site section. Comments about broken railing on a deck, photos for broken railing on a deck are going to go in the subject property amenities section. Just to give a couple of examples there, it's going to be a big difference. Appraisers have to put things in the right places, and I think that's going to be a big shift.
Yeah, and so along those lines, going off script, as Jim Morrison is always freaked out when I do, I'm an appraiser, I'm out doing the work. How much do I need to worry about getting things in the exact right spot, Joel?
Well, you're not going to necessarily need to do that when you're in the field. It's when you get back that, when you're filling out the report, as it were, because it's no longer a form, that you've got to make sure that, everything is lined up, it's in the right place, that you've labeled the photos the exact right thing, that your, bathroom 2 is the one with the tile, and so it's got to match the data for bathroom 2. And I got to say, there are products out there, Total for mobile, as one, that actually help you do that while you gather the data, rather than having to figure it out on the back end, frustrated for 2 days
And
while you're
and
trying
and
to figure out how to fill it out.
and that's exactly what I was getting to. So, look, I'm a lifelong Total user, and what I've found with Total for mobile, labeling things, getting to the right spot in the report, doing that business, that is so easy when using Total for mobile and coming back to the office. There's no plug your camera in, bring the folder of photos in, and then put them in spots. It's all right in the right spot.
That's right. Every photo has a place and it has a label and a name. And I mean, you can add a description to it if you want to, obviously, but they're looking to have like photos got to be named particular things in a lot of cases and go in particular slots in a particular order. So it's new. A
Yeah.
lot of this is new.
A lot of folks are asking whether this is something they need to worry about now or later. What should appraisers be doing today to prepare?
I would practice. I would take the software that you have. If you are one of my customers, obviously, we've had the learning edition of Total out with the data, the basic data set for a couple of months. Here in the next month, we're going to release the launch edition now that we have our verification. So get in and play with it and see what it takes to actually fill out the data set itself. If I had to pick one particular document that the GSEs have released that you would look over first, it's probably the inspection and reporting tips document. It's essentially 2 pages, but it's a checklist of a lot of the new things. I would take that particular document out into the field with you on one of your like an REO inspection where you don't have Joe homeowner, yapping at you behind, and just take all of the data that you need to for that property based on that inspection and reporting tips document for the GSEs. Now, if you'll forgive me, I'm going to say what I've been saying for the last 2 years. In addition to all of that, if you are not mobile, please adopt mobile as soon as you can in the 2.6 environment, the 2.6, the legacy environment, like the GSEs are talking about. So I would do that as soon as possible. It will give you a leg up in the new
Yeah.
3.6 environment for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. And one thing I'm going to suggest that our listeners do, if you have not yet, sign up for and take the Appraiser's Guide to the New URAR. It is educational material put together by both Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. It covers all of the things they want appraisers to know. It's really useful information. Take that class. And for folks out there that do use Total, usually Joel and I will tag team a classroom setting. I'll teach the UAD class, and then he teaches Total for mobile the next day. So if you're not, really comfortable with mobile appraising, you can take the Scan to Sketch Total for mobile class in the same setting that you're taking the UAD 3.6 class and kind of do double duty. The other thing I'm going to say to appraisers out there is, and I've done this and I will do it again. I've taken the UAD 3.6 class provided by the GSEs, Fannie and Freddie both, a couple of times now. It's never a bad idea to review that information. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, we are working on some short form educational material that covers specific things and kind of touches on high notes for appraisers to kind of get a refresher on that class. But the key is getting comfortable with mobile and take the education offered by the GSEs or offered at the behest of the GSEs to get your head around all that information. Joel, let me ask you a couple of questions, kind of digging down into the nuts and bolts of this. What were some of the roadblocks you all encountered in this process as you were developing for UAD 3.6?
Oh man, that's really a technical question because we've spent so much time over the last few months, working toward this verification for the GSEs. And so a lot of the technical things that they've chosen to do, like what fonts can be used and that sort of thing. Like even the check boxes have to be Wingdings 2 font, as an example. This is all in their published documentation. Just one particular example. So there are some things that are technical that we had to work out. We also, of course, when we sat down to start this project years ago, we had to make a choice, right? We could choose to do the TurboTax approach, which is, like a wizard. You ask a question and then ask another question and then ask another question and then kick out the report. That's not really how appraisers have been working for all of these years. There are benefits to doing it that way, but that's not what appraisers are used to. And so our first blush at this has really been what we call WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. It's like an image of the form on the screen. I say form. I'm not supposed to use that term, I know. But I see that.
Old
I
habits
see
die
the report
hard.
on the screen essentially in the same way that the client will read it in the PDF. And so we've had to rework the total program, basically the engine that runs the forms, the old forms behind the scenes. We've had to completely rework that for this new reporting schema with the dynamic, changeable views and all of that, and of course the technical pieces that the GSEs have specified about how it has to look, not just how it has to act.
Yeah, and in terms of how it has to look, there are some criteria about the size of divider lines between sections and stuff like that I've heard nightmares about. So let me ask you this: will Scan to Sketch, the mobile app, work with both the Legacy 2.6 and UAD 3.6?
Oh, it already does. Even in the Learning Edition, there's you can go to the mobile app and start a brand new report in the 3.6 schema. There is some difference in the app itself for 3.6, obviously, because it's not just a new form, it's a whole new way of filling things out. So it also has to be dynamic. And we've got a different way of doing a checklist in the new 3.6 schema on Total for Mobile. As far as Scan to Sketch, absolutely. Scan to Sketch is as you know, the measuring piece that uses LiDAR that drops it into the sketcher itself. None of that really changes. Now, what you name things has to be, the same particular thing. But the functionality that you learn in the roadshow that you mentioned earlier, and that we practice with, doesn't really change fundamentally between the legacy 2.6 and the new upcoming 3.6 format.
Okay, good. Before we wrap this up, what is one message you want appraisers to hear about UAD 3.6 and the road ahead?
Of course, I've been around for a few decades doing this, and we've had some changes. This is a bigger change than any of the ones that I have personally seen before. This isn't just a new form like in 2005. It's not just a bunch of abbreviations like we saw with the first UAD in 2011. So fundamentally, this is a bigger change. But I hear the doom and gloom for appraisers, and while I understand it, this is just change, right? We're going to get through this. Where some appraisers will like it more than others. There are benefits as well as drawbacks to any change. But as far as a message to my appraiser friends and customers, just consider this process change management over the next year. Get your mindset into, okay, well now what's next? What's the next step I got to do? Do I need to learn a piece? Do I need to practice a piece? Do I need to set up a demo? Do I need to call into tech support and set up a one-on-one product coaching session or something like just whatever is going to help you the most with what is in essence change management over the next year and a half.
Yeah, no doubt. Joel, thank you so much for being here today. I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to hear from one of our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
LIA Administrators and Insurance Services, serving valuation professionals since 1978. We provide E&O insurance with a commitment to superior customer service, outstanding liability education, and unmatched claim defense. Explore our exclusive appraiser liability education by Peter Christensen and cost-effective seminars designed to foster your growth. Our underwriters, with an average of 26 years of experience each, are dedicated to supporting appraisers. Visit liability.com to discover how LIA can safeguard your business.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to the Appraisal Buzzcast. I'm Hal Humphreys, your host. I'm joined today by Joel Baker from Cotality, the a la mode crew over there. We have been talking about the fact that Total has recently been verified by the GSEs for UAD 3.6. Joel, Jim Morrison likes to come at me with these anonymous appraiser questions. Jim, do we have an anonymous appraiser question today?
Well, today, what I'm going to tell appraisers is they can ask their questions in person to Joel. So, any questions you have for our expert, Joel Baker or Hal Humphreys, you can come ask them in person. So, we have an upcoming event in Orlando, March 4th through 6th. Joel will be teaching the scan to sketch, so you get the mobile inspection part. Hal will be teaching the URAR for appraiser, so you get the UAD 3.6 part. And then we're going to have a special day after that to go through the software of some of the demos, go through the demos of the software that's approved or verified for UAD 3.6. And then after all that, you're going to get a chance to actually talk with the GSEs about what's going on, what they intend, how they expect it to look, and really get feedback on what's expected. So we're really looking forward to it. We kind of pictured it as a UAD 3.6 boot camp, but since it's in Florida in March, maybe it's UAD 3.6 spring break with Hal and Joel.
I think we'll call it UAD 3.6 spring training with Joel and Hal.
That works better.
So yeah, and on that Friday, the day 3 of this roadshow, I'm going to be presenting a 2 or 3 hour, we're yet to be determined on the exact length, deep dive into some specific data clusters and what Fannie and Freddie both want you to know about some specific data clusters and the information they want in there, why they want it, and how that information translates into that dynamic sales grid that you've heard so much about. And then after that, we're going to have demos from software providers who have been verified already. And then you get to ask questions directly from representatives from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac about, any questions you have about UAD 3.6. Hit them hard, hit them long with questions. This is your chance to get feedback from them directly.
That's right. And Hal, one of the most fun pieces that I get to do while teaching is on that first day when we're doing the scan to sketch total for mobile boot camp, basically, is the hands-on sketching for 2+ hours. You get actual practice at it with everybody else in the room, and everybody walks out of that room having drawn a 6,000 square foot property with angles and curves and cutouts and open to belows, and having practice using scan to sketch to do measurements. It's a lot of fun. It really is.
Yeah, it's a fun class. So yeah, join us in Orlando for the Appraiser Learning Cotality Roadshow, where you get scan to sketch, total for mobile class. You get Appraiser's Guide to UAD 3.6 or Appraiser's Guide to the new URAR, which is material put together by both Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, presented by Appraiser Learning. And then on day 3, you get a deep dive into some topics. You get software demos from the verified software providers, and then the chance to ask questions directly of the GSEs in the room, live and in real time. And I'm guessing, Jim Morrison, that we may have ourselves a cocktail hours after that just to let everybody debrief.
Yeah, we're going to have a cocktail reception at the end where you can really ask the questions after you've had a couple drinks. But there's a couple ways you can do this. So you could do all 3. We've got a package. We'll include the link in the in the description below, but you can do all 3. You can stream it. If you don't want to come see Hal and Joel in person, you can stream it and just watch it from your computer. Or you could just do the final day. If you want to just talk with the GSEs about what to expect from UAD, say you've already taken Hal's URAR class, you've already taken Joel's scan to sketch, you can just come for the last day too. So we've made it pretty flexible for you. We hope to see you there. We hope you'll join us.
I will say real quick before we wrap this up, if you haven't taken the URAR course, the Appraiser's Guide to the new URAR, the Friday session may not be terribly useful for you. We're not going to go over all of the information. I'm going to suggest take that class before you come to the Friday session. If you haven't taken it yet, sign up for it. We will be offering it the day before. So do that first, then join us for the Friday class. But it's going to be fun either way. Jim, do we have anything else we need to cover?
That's it, Joel. Congratulations again, and we're so excited for you taking the time to talk with us.
I really appreciate it. We're excited. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Joel, thanks so much for being with us. Congratulations again to a la mode Cotality on this important milestone. We appreciate you taking the time to walk appraisers through what this means. And if we have nothing else, for Jim Morrison and Joel Baker, I'm Hal Humphreys, and that is your Appraisal Buzzcast for this week.